Indian cities are changing very fast. We're going to add nearly 400 million more urban citizens to India's cities and new cities in the next 2 decades. Mobility in particular is a challenge that is emerging in a big way in our cities.
The COVID-19 pandemic and lockdowns around the world have drastically changed the way we live. Yet mobility remains an enabler of people's lives.
It's a basic freedom and one that everyone deserves.
Urban Mobility Lab is a platform to bring about a change in the way people and goods move in that city. We've partnered with the cities of Pune, Delhi in the past, and now we are here in Bangalore.
Transformational change in big systems also requires transformation at different levels of that system. It requires transformation in technology, it requires transformation in policy, and it requires transformation of people and mindsets.
In Bangalore, we're working on first and last mile connectivity, public transit,
electric vehicle manufacturing and supply chain issues, electric vehicle charging infrastructure and battery swapping infrastructure,
mobility data solutions,
and final mile delivery in Bangalore. So much intelligence exists in the system already. Part of what we're trying to do is bring together those intelligent actors, all of the knowledge that already exists, into a single place to allow different pieces of opportunity to come forward.
India is on the verge of a larger transportation revolution, but urban mobility in particular I think is very important, because if you look at our large cities today, we are really suffering from infrastructure bottlenecks and air pollution.
Bangalore was a city that I used to cycle to when I was a kid to school. You just can't do that today. And so I think we have several challenges in Bangalore. The city has grown very, very fast, and the infrastructure hasn't kept up with it.
We're working on first and last mile connectivity with the goal of increasing public transit ridership. It's that access and dispersal trips that are critical to ensure that people take public transit. As Bangalore restarts economic activity after the lockdown, we need to ensure that adequate safety measures are in place in the public transportation systems, because the city cannot afford to lose its public transit ridership. The city has to increase its ridership and modal share of public transport to a level of 80% in the coming years.
My perfect view would be to see the government articulates a clear strategy to say, I'm going to make these investments in buses, infrastructure, in other forms of public mobility like metro, suburban rail, proper bus stops.
You need to move faster, you need to move safer, and you need to do this in a sustainable way. So government needs to have a policy that allows entrepreneurs, innovators, civil society to actually operate in that ecosystem and deliver.
We're working on electric vehicle manufacturing and supply chain issues, because while policies can exist, there needs to be a balance in supply and demand that's introduced simultaneously in order to move the system forward.
When you see the long-term backbone of the country, it depends on the manufacturing. In order to drive manufacturing, all the three factors, government, technology, and investment, needs to go hand in hand. Government's incentives, which are coming in some way, like providing tax-free lands and providing a good loans, will help out.
Trying to diversify our own supply chain for raw materials is going to be very crucial in the long term, so that we can build out that manufacturing capability, and also we have that secure supply chain so that we can drive more EV adoption in the future.
We're working on electric vehicle charging infrastructure and battery swapping infrastructure as a way of supplying the new system with electricity to power a new future.
As far as the EV ecosystem for charging is concerned, there is a lot of conversation, there is a lot of deliberation, and I can see a lot of movement.
What we looked at it is that if you separate the battery from electric vehicles, you could get the cost of electric vehicles to be similar to gasoline engine vehicles. And if you're able to swap the batteries in a couple of minutes, you can address both the issues of long refueling time and range anxiety, thereby creating a solution around this.
We're working on final mile delivery in Bangalore because it's an exploding market segment driven by e-commerce and food delivery.
which have become even more important in the post-COVID era.
And it also serves as a potential first mover for electrification and clean solutions, to create an example of what's possible for other market segments to follow.
To make the urban freight more efficient, connectivity has to be focused upon, and that's what all these logistics companies are doing. They are actually focusing on making the right connectivity of routes so that they can increase the utilization of these routes, and it's happening at scale today and it's showing results.
We are in the decade where mobility has become increasingly a digital service. What citizens are looking at are for easily discoverable choices of mobility in terms of cost, convenience, and time.
Data has the opportunity to optimize and efficiently use our existing assets, which is very critical in a growing city like Bangalore, which is constrained by space. Data has the potential to create seamless and multimodal transit systems that would rely less and less on physical infrastructure.
Given Bangalore's history of being a technology innovation hub, we should really be capitalizing on that and seeing how we can take innovative solutions that startups are coming up with in the city and really deploy that at scale. What really needs to happen with all these issues is all the key stakeholders coming together and figuring out solutions that are actually workable and practical.
If we want to make a departure from the existing system, what was valid long time back and what is to be valid today and in the future, we need a lot of changes in our own ecosystem.
The kind of groups that have shared their findings, they have also given us some kind of way forward, including what the government should do. That will hold us in good stead.
We're working in Bangalore with a spirit of both service and responsibility. And we sense that spirit coming not just from us, but from many of the stakeholders. And so the motivation levels are quite high. The levels of responsibility from every citizen to contribute in some way positively towards a better future is felt, is present, and it's real here in Bangalore.
We often talk about transformation, but real change takes time. We are committed as an organization, as a platform, as a lab, to serve cities in India and enable that transformation. That's why the commitment is to learn quickly and expedite this transition together.